Hi, it's Alana from The Rustic Wife. This is my very first YouTube video. I've been talking about it for a very long time, so it's about time. It's unseasonably warm where I am here. I live about 2 hours north of Toronto, in Ontario, Canada, and it's November 8th or 9th. I can't remember which day it is. But anyway, it's really warm. It's 23 degrees. Usually it's about 0 or below 0 right now with a skiff of snow. But anyway, we have been blessed with this weather, and I thought I'd come out and collect some flower seeds and bring you along with me. This is just what I do. These are how I collect the seeds, and it works for me. I'm sure lots of other people have different ways of doing it, but this is how I do it. So I thought I'd just jump into this YouTube thing and do a video on this, and I'll do an introduction video at some point. I just wanted to get it done. So I'll bring you along with me. So I'm out here in my cut flower garden. I've pulled up the gladiolus corms and I've taken those in to dry for the winter. I've pulled up some cosmos as well, but I do have a row of zinnias. I leave those in there for the birds to peck away at and the mice for the winter time. Also, I have a row of lavender here. That is what I'm going to be collecting some seeds from, and I will show you. So here's a better shot of the flowers that have dried out. This is where you're going to find your seeds. If I can get zeroed in here, there's a better one. See it blowing in the wind there? Those are little seed pods, and if you pick them off, you'll get probably a couple seeds from each one of these little spikes. Maybe not even one. You don't get as many seeds as you actually think you're going to. So I'm going to pick a couple off and show you what I mean. Here is my seed saving buddy. That's Chief. Hi, babe. So what I do is I'll just bring some jars here in a 6-quart basket just so I can carry them down, and then I will pluck off things that I need to collect the seeds from. So these are the lavender seed pods, and what I do is just put them upside down into a jar and sprinkle the seeds out of them. So here are a few of the seeds. Like I said, you don't get a lot of seeds for the amount of flower stalks there are. It's actually quite surprising. They're very, very tiny. They are little tiny black seeds. Anyway, but you have to remember too, each one of those, providing it germinates, will be a plant. So they are very tiny, but they're mighty. Next one I'll show you is zinnias. So this whole garden here was various colors of zinnias. Now obviously they're brown, you can't tell what color they are, so it's a good idea to get the seeds when you can tell what color it is. I've already gathered several of them from here, but I thought I would just show you what to look for when you're collecting zinnia seeds. So here is a dried out zinnia head. I just know because I planted them. These ones were orange. But each one of these petals here will have a seed at the bottom of it. So if you just pull them out, so I've just pulled some of those out there, and you can see right at the end there, here is the seed. It looks like a little arrowhead. Right here is the petal, and this is the seed of the zinnia right at the top there, like a little arrow. So you just break those off and save those, and you can put them in a little envelope. I keep some of mine in mason jars and plant them again next year. So I've just put some in a jar and make sure that they're completely dry, and they're not completely dry when you store them in a mason jar. They will obviously rot. But yeah, so you can see up close what those little arrowhead seeds look like. And my dogs are fighting. Hey! You're not being helpful. I should also mention that zinnia seeds have a tendency to cross-pollinate. whether it be from the wind or bees or other pollinating insects. Um, so if you want to collect the seed from that particular color, it'll be kind of difficult unless you plant them way, way, way far away. I think the rule of thumb is kind of like a quarter of a mile, which is kind of ridiculous, but or you can put a little something over, like a little mesh bag over the flower that you want to collect seeds from, so that the bees can't get in to pollinate, and maybe tie a ribbon on it so that you know that that's the plant that you want to collect seeds from if you want that true color. Otherwise, you're going to get possibly cross-pollinated flowers, which are pretty. They're a real surprise. You may get the same color or you may not. And here's an example of a cross-pollinated flower. I think they're beautiful and I look forward to the surprises, so I just kind of collect the seeds anyway, but just a word of caution that a lot of things do cross-pollinate. Another fun one to save is the calendula, or pot marigold, some people call it. Here are the dried seeds. There is one here that hasn't been nailed by frost yet. They're absolutely resilient. They're super hardy and beautiful, and actually great for your skin. So actually you can just pop these off, dry the petals, and infuse them in some oil. Great for your skin and your hair. But anyway, if you want to save the seeds, these are the seed pods, or the flower heads that have gone to seed. So what you have to do is just pick those off, and here are the seeds. Those are the calendula seeds. To me, they look like little octopus or squid tentacles. But yeah, so you just keep those and save those for next year as well, and toss them in some soil. Easy as that, and you've got lots of calendula and plenty of seed for the following year too. Now, before I decided I was going to do this seed video, I took down all of my old hollyhock um, flower stems, but here's a few in the garden still. I'll show you. I'll show you a picture. I'll put a picture here of what the hollyhocks look like when they're beautiful and in bloom, and then you'll understand, like, each one of these right here was where a flower bloom was, and that is where all your seeds are. So these are old flower bloom stalks. So I'll grab some seeds from it and I'll show you. So pretty much they've all dropped. What they do is they'll open up and drop their seeds. So pretty much most of them have dropped their seeds, but there's a few in this one. Oh no, there isn't. Oh yes, there's just a couple right there. See them? They're like little round discs, actually. Another good flower to gather seeds from is the marigold, and they have a million seeds in their little seed pods once they've dried up. Well, maybe not a million, but there's a lot. So last year I saved jars full of these seeds. They look like little porcupine quills to me, but I saved tons of these seeds, and I just, instead of buying impatiens for the border along the front of my house, I just made a little trench and threw some seeds in, covered them up, kept them watered for a bit, and I had such a beautiful display of orange and red and light orange marigolds along the front. So they're absolutely perfect to gather seeds from. Super easy. So anyway, I'm going to show you here. So I'm sitting at my kitchen table, and this is where all the magic happens with my seed drying. This time of year, it has completely taken over this whole area. Seedlings and seeds and whatever else I've got. Canning pots are everywhere, and my husband and my daughter want to use this kitchen table again. We're in the dining room right now, but I don't know. This is quite important. This is my area, my workspace. So anyway, this is where I have all my stuff, and I'm going to show you how I have already gathered the marigold seed pods. So I'm going to show you how I pull them out and dry them to save them for next year. So you'll see what I'm talking about by my kitchen table taking over buy everything. I've got my marigold seed pods there. I've got some clary sage seeds there. Some lettuce seeds in that basket. I also have a whole bunch of calendula petals. Those screens, I use those a lot to dry flowers or rose petals or anything else I need to dry. Here I've got some seedlings that I dug up from the garden. So yeah, I kind of need a lot of space. And here, this is supposed to not be seen, but I'm going to show you anyway. All my canning pots I just pile there for the whole season. Saves me going up and down the stairs to get them. So anyway, this is my marigolds here. Get focused. So these are all the marigold flowers that I picked. They were fairly dry when I picked them, closed up, but you can still see the orange where the petals have dried. But each one of these, let me just bring it in here for you. Each one of these here was a little flower. And you can see the orange petal that I was talking about, they've dried up. So what I'll do is I'm going to open one of those and show you what it looks like. Okay, here is the marigold head here. You can see these were the petals. So it's quite dry, so you gotta be careful. If you grab a hold of this, the bottom, and just grab a hold of the petals, pull out all of those seeds here. So that, all of those are marigold seeds. And like I said, they look like porcupine quills. So they'll be quite dry now. So if you have a lot, you can store them in a jar, or you can just put them in envelopes and label them, the date, and save them for next year. So a couple of ways that you can store your seeds. I'd mentioned the mason jar. If you have a lot, again, make sure they're completely dry, and then put the lid on them and store them in a cool, dark place. Not a refrigerator or anything like that. You can put them in a cupboard. I got these little envelopes from Staples here. There was 250 in a box. I think maybe I paid $25 for them, I think. Anyway, what I do is I will put seeds in that. That's the size right there. And it's perfect size if you want to share your seeds with somebody. Sometimes too, if you want to make sure that your seeds are evenly packaged, you can weigh them on a scale there. And if you have a lot of small seeds like lavender or foxglove, they're really tiny, I will make a little envelope out of parchment paper, put the seeds in that, and then put them in the paper envelope. That way they're not going to get lost. So that is what I do. So I hope that helps. That's just a few of the seeds that you can gather. There are so many more. You can do vegetable seeds and herb seeds, everything. So I just went over a few. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you get to seed saving.